Hi, I'm going to do a quick review of the Casio Celviano AP-S190. Now the AP-S190 is, I think, exactly the same as the AP-S200. It's just a Costco exclusive model because Costco often will take an existing model, drop the model number by like 5 or 10, and then release it as an exclusive. So spec-wise, the product description on the website, all are exactly the same as S200. So I'm going to review this as if it's the S200. So the S200 is the most basic model in the Celviano line, and the Celviano line from Casio is the best acoustic piano line that they have. So it's like the best line, the most budget model in that line. And I'm coming from having a 20-plus-year-old Yamaha P80, so anything is going to be a big step up. In fact, when I was first, getting digital pianos, Casio was very kind of cheap and tacky. But now they've made these really nice hybrid grand digital pianos and all this stuff, and they look good, they sound good, so it's like a different world now for Casio, which is kind of cool. Now, this piano, I'm getting it primarily as an acoustic piano replacement or simulator. So it does a bunch of other stuff with tones and effects, which is fine, but I'm mainly using it to play acoustic classical piano, to teach my kid classical piano, so that's what I'm looking for here. So realistic piano tone is number one, and then secondary would be like realistic piano feel. For example, at Costco, the other really popular model is the Roland Nuvola EX right now, and I played it at the store and it feels good, but the sound is very tinny and kind of buzzy because it has a really small speaker system. So one of the reasons I wanted the S190/S200 is that the speaker system is much larger. This is a 40-watt system, so you won't get that that buzzing, tinny sound as badly. So I would say if you're not looking at the piano, sometimes my kid plays the piano and I'm somewhere else, it sounds like a real piano. If you're looking at it, okay, yeah, you can kind of tell it's digital, but I would say it sounds, to me, without looking at it, sounds like a real piano. So that's nice. It is a little bit murky, I would say, in the lower register. But in the upper register, I think it sounds very clear. The treble's really good. So, I would say good overall sound. Speakers sound good. Much better than the entry-level Roland that I'm referring to at Costco. So that's the reason I kind of went for this Celviano instead. Bigger speaker system. Speakers far out and down, and also kind of resonate in the cabinet. That's what kind of another reason I wanted a cabinet-style piano rather than a stage piano, which the P80 was, because I can get this sort of resonance feel in the keys, kind of coming out this way a little more naturally than just having these kind of ugly artificial speaker grills on top. So that's kind of nice. You get a much more realistic piano vibe when playing it, even though it's very kind of compact. And that's another reason I got this too. It's a compact model. The S190 S200 is a slim, so it really doesn't take up a lot of space in your living room compared to some of the other AP models, which have larger cabinet, have folding lid, all that stuff. So yeah, good, nice, compact form factor. Sounds, I would say, very reasonably like a real piano. So the action, I'd say, is, to me, pretty good, and I come from playing just kind of secondhand acoustic pianos. I didn't play, full-size grand or even a baby grand growing up, just played kind of whatever I had. So, this feels pretty good. Also feels like, to me, pretty much like a real piano, particularly like an upright. Now, a lot of comments online about the S200 will make a reference to this kind of short pivot point or short key for the black keys, so they're going to feel a little bit heavier, and they actually do. When you first start playing it, you'll be like, oh, if you play too close to the front of the keys, it will feel heavier, and it is noticeable. But after just a couple minutes playing, you'll forget about it because every piano, including the ones when I played, my pianos were very loose action because they were used, they were old. So every piano kind of has its own feel. Once you play this one for a couple minutes, it'll just feel natural to you. So I would say it's not really like a deal breaker or anything to be super concerned about. Once you play it a little bit, you'll forget about it. And you may not even notice it at all, because if you play down, toward the bottom of the keys, or you use a lot of white keys and just kind of a little bit of the black keys, you won't notice. So that's just something to note. It is a little bit heavier playing the black keys up higher on the keys. Now, the tones, this is actually a new sample for this model, I believe, which is the Hamburg Grand from Steinway. And it sounds good. Sounds like a good Grand. Some of the other APs have various other Grands, like the Vienna Grand and so on. This one just has a Hamburg, and it sounds good. So again, that's really all that matters to me. Some people may want more tones, and this has other tones too. It has like electric piano and strings and rock piano and organ, and that's nice to haves for me, but not really necessary, but they're there. But I just want like one good grand tone, which it has. So tone wise, so I would say tone wise, action wise, it's nice, it's good. Appearance wise, kind of overall sort of piano vibe wise, it's good. Other features are this like, soft closing cover, that's cool. It has the pedal bar at the bottom, so you're not chasing around your little sustain pedal on like a little mouse. So that's nice. This little like control like kind of disappears when you're not using it. You tap it to show them, and then they will just disappear if you don't use them. And you kind of hold these down, and you use the keys to change your tones and your settings. So if you don't have like the little manual, it's kind of hard to figure out. So it's easier just to use the app. You sync your tablet or your phone using the app. You can do all the settings here. You can change your tone to, whatever you want, right? Pipe organ, you just hit it here, and then now you're playing the pipe organ. You can also tinker around with the reverb and all those settings here. I like just having a very basic room reverb setting. The hall one I think is kind of overkill. If you're going to play at home in your house, you don't need the hall reverb. So I set it to room, so it's not too overbearing. Sounds like it would if you're playing acoustic piano in your room. You also have the acoustic simulator, which is kind of a cool, I've never seen this before, but you can kind of play with the settings of the other little idiosyncrasies that a real piano would have. So for example, string resonance is when you hold these keys down and you hit other keys. Because the felt would be off the strings in a real piano while you're holding these down, those strings will still resonate when you play other keys. Now, if you turn it up, you can kind of do a few interesting effects with it. If you hear that. Now, obviously, that's an exaggerated effect, but so I usually kind of tone it down, but it's just cool to see that you could do that kind of thing. You could also play with a damper noise. These are things that normally like keyboards used to try to eliminate, because these are kind of artifacts of the piano that you don't want in the studio setting. But now people want to add them in because it gives it a more authentic feel. So damper noise in a real piano, if you press the damper pedal down, you'll hear that sound. This is, again, exaggerated. So I turn that down to the lowest setting just to have it there. But in normal playing, it's not noticeable. But just in you just hear it in the little corners of the music. It's kind of cool. So you can kind of play with that however you like. And then, there's also a recorder here. There's the metronome setting. You can use as a MIDI controller, a bunch of stuff that I normally would not use, because again, I'm just kind of here to teach my kid classical piano, play around classical/rock piano. So these are just things to play with and have fun with in the app, but not totally necessary. So anyway, overall impression is that it is You know, I like the keyboard a lot. It really does replace like an acoustic piano, and you don't have to tune it, and you can move it around more easily. You don't need like professional movers. Not gonna get messed up if you know move it from here to there. So yeah, very compact. Looks good. I'm excited to teach my kid on it, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.